of the womb. Happy Womb Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in and joining me as usual. Hey to my new people. Hey to my old people. So today I wanted to talk about pain management and labor. I'm going to start from the highest to the lowest because I feel like it's easier that way. So everyone knows what epidural is. Basically, it's anesthesia that's injected into your spine. They inject it with a needle. They take out the needle. They leave like a little, almost like a little plastic catheter, little thin tube in your back, and it runs on a pump like an IV. So if you've seen an IV, you insert the needle, you take out the needle and the plastic catheter stays in. It's hooked up to a line and a bag and a pump, and that's how it runs, right? So I hear a lot of people saying like, I don't want to get it too early. I don't want it to run out, blah, blah, whatever. Now, getting it too early, whole nother subject, not going there today. But as far as running out, it does not run out. It runs continuously on a pump. If it gets low in the bag, the pump will alert that there's a low volume left in the bag, and we just switch the bag out, and it just keeps running, keeps running, keeps running. Now, as far as what you will feel with an epidural, the goal of an epidural is not to take away everything. So if you go into it thinking you're going to feel absolutely nothing, you're going to be very shocked when you start feeling some type of pressure. Don't get me wrong. Different places, different anesthesiologists, different, every place is different, but generally, you feel something. And the closer you get to delivery, you want to feel something. So there's not a whole hour or so spent pushing where you're just trying to feel where you're even pushing, basically. So that's epidural. I could talk about IV pain medication. So basically you have an IV in place. There's things like Stadol. I've seen places give morphine in like early labor. Different things to kind of relax the body, kind of take you, it makes you feel, yeah, that's not how I describe it. Loopy, I guess. It is I think they're all narcotics, if I'm not mistaken. But they help to kind of take the edge off. They do not take away the pain. Pretty much none of these take away everything. But it doesn't completely take away the pain. But what it does is kind of get you to a place where you can go to sleep in between contractions. Just it gives you like that restful period, right? The closer you get to delivery, the shorter amount of time the medication actually works or is effective. And most medications you will not be able to receive after you've reached a certain point in labor. So a lot of places I've worked, you get to 8 centimeters. That's it, because the IV pain medication does pass through to the baby. So, it can affect the baby once the baby comes out. There's also nitrous oxide. I don't know if they've not been doing this because of the pandemic. I would think not. I don't know. But it's basically like laughing gas, essentially. But you have to be awake and active in using it for it to be effective. So people think they just gonna put the mask on, take a deep breath, fall asleep. That's not how that works. You have to breathe in with the mask during a contraction for you to feel effects. You have to be active and ready to move around. So, well, not move around, but active and ready to take your deep breaths when you feel a contraction come on. Like actively, like you have to be active. You can't be wanting to just take a deep breath and fall asleep. That's not gonna happen. And then let's talk about natural, unmedicated labor is what I like to call it, because it's all a natural process. But unmedicated, there are so many things you can try. I'm sure most people have heard of like hypnobirthing, meditation, breathing techniques, yoga ball, all these different things, right? And I've seen them all work for different people in different situations, because obviously all of these medications work differently in different situations. And all of these techniques work differently in different situations. My biggest advice for people who desire an unmedicated labor is to you have to move, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. You have to be willing to change positions. You have to be willing to go in to yourself, release all distractions around you, and go into yourself and get yourself through those contractions. Because I keep doing this because that is how these contractions go. They ride a wave. It's legit how it goes. It's going to come up, it's going to come up, it's going to peak, and it's going to come down. So even if you know that it's hard for you to stay within yourself, make sure your support person knows this and can trigger you to go back in, right? Like, oh, this is too much. It's too much. And they're like, you right at the peak, you're coming down, you're about to come down. Take your deep breaths. That contraction is gone. And remember to leave that contraction where it is. It's gone. And you relax in between. Okay. Another thing I want to say is, don't wait until you're at the hospital for your induction to decide, I don't want an epidural. I don't want any pain medicine. I'm going to do this natural. If you have it in your mind that's something you're interested in doing, I would just do some research. Find a technique that works for you, because it can get intense. Now, I've seen some people, they just got it. I don't know. Beyond me. But I definitely think it's something you have to have a certain mindset for. Now, I'm not saying you need to go read 300 books and all these different things, but you have to find ways that fit you so that you can prepare yourself, because it's a big mountain you're gonna climb, okay? And there's a big reward at the end, but it's gonna take a lot to get there. So my biggest advice: prepare yourselves. That's why you have a whole pregnancy to figure out, like, what do I want to do? If I want to do this naturally, maybe let me start taking some prenatal yoga classes, kind of loosen up my body, work on different pelvic floor exercises, do spinning babies. They have like a 3 Sisters, different exercises you can do throughout pregnancy to help with those ligaments and muscles. Look up hypnobirthing, do a hypnobirthing class, take up prenatal education, what am I trying to say? Labor class, birth class. But you have to put forth the effort. I'm not saying some people don't just come in and do it and done, but most people need there's something, okay? I've had somebody that legit had hypnobirthing on an iPod, and when it was almost time for her to push, she got right on the bed, cross-legged with her headphones in her ear, closed her eyes, and was chilling, okay? I had one girl that legit told me, when I have a contraction, just remember to tell me to breathe. I have some people that say, don't talk to me like when I'm contracting. I'm gonna go in, I have my music, I have my essential oils, I have all my stuff, let me handle it. But you don't find what you want to do. Figure out what works for you. And you, like I said, you have 9 months to figure that out. Don't wait until the day of an induction to decide whatever. And then I also want to throw in there that an induction intensifies your normal labor, okay? We're forcing labor. We're forcing contractions. And I've heard this from everybody, Pitocin is a beast, okay? So if you can find ways to do an induction, if you have to do an induction, and try not to use Pitocin until the last minute, try that if you're really trying not to get an epidural. Or also breaking your water, You got to think about what your water is doing. Your water is almost like a cushion around the baby, right? And a cushion on your cervix and your uterus, right? So you're having all these contractions, your water's still intact. Yeah, they're uncomfortable, they're not terrible, whatever. Now your water breaks. So you have the force of the contraction at the top of the uterus, the baby pushing down on your cervix, and it's just pushing. You don't have that cushion. So it intensifies your contractions. Okay. So if you're trying to figure out different things to do and you're in the hospital or wherever, and your provider wants to break your water, but you're like 3 centimeters, but you don't want an epidural. If there's no reason to break your water or start Pitocin, see how long you can prolong that until we kind of out of options, right? And movement is your best friend. I have seen people say they don't want an epidural and will not get out of the bed. You have to move so baby can move. It's like those little puzzles. If you have a circle, but you're trying to fit a square in, it's not going to fit. If you have a circle or an oval, let's say it's an oval. Let's do ovals. You have an oval facing this way, and that's your pelvis, but your baby's oval is facing the opposite way. If somebody don't move, it's not going to fit, right? So if you just laying there sitting like this and the baby's laying there sitting like this, we're just doing this, right? Not making no progress, not doing nothing. Let's say we turn over on hands and knees and then flip over to the side and then get up and use the ball or do some lunges, or even sitting on the toilet changes. Just do stuff to change the shape of the pelvis and rotate the baby. And the baby will slowly but surely rotate in place and drop down. So this was longer than I anticipated. I'm sorry, y'all. But those are some pain management options in labor. Get at me if you got some questions. And if not, I'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and save. And make sure you comment and let me know if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns. I'll be happy to respond, and I will talk to y'all next week.